and the things that he had to say. And I gotta go back and pull up the stuff that Lio Rush said, because there are things that I agree with and I disagree with. So Lio Rush comes out, since his clause I think is done with WWE, so he can come say whatever he wants to say. But Lio Rush ain't been caring.
He didn't give a shit anyway.
Lio Rush was saying this stuff anyway. So Lio Rush makes a couple comments about wrestling fans, wrestling, and how WWE treats black people in wrestling, which I'm not going to disagree with all the stuff he said. So this is verbatim what he says. I'm sick of the bullshit, and it pains me because I love this business so much. To the fans, do better. You're the ones killing wrestling and making this shit whack. All capitals. Stop pairing up black people because you don't know what to do with them. Stop that shit. Stop giving African Americans title reigns when global black issues are happening. We're not stupid. Stop that shit. And then those were the pair of tweets that he said so far. There was the one with Finn Balor, but I'll get to
the one with Finn Balor, and then the one with Naomi. I think that was the main.
Yeah, so I talked about the day with 10 times today. Mm-hmm. Now, we are all black people on this podcast. By the way, all my life. By the way,
past life.
My wife laid sketches joints for this conversation.
He had to bring my black ass in here for this one.
So,
just like Brandon Mack, I've been black a long time.
Yeah. So the thing is, look, am I going to disagree with Lio Rush when he's saying, that the fans, kind of make wrestling kind of whack? I'm not really, because we are a big part of the problem a lot of times also. Even though a lot of the problem, especially when it comes to Vince and his creative team and the way they think, they're a huge amount of this problem, especially for WWE. When it comes to pandering to black people, African Americans, they do that. Mm-hmm. This has happened before. I have witnessed it.
We make the jokes every February.
And it's not just black people. I'm with color people. Mm-hmm. Let me give you an example. Jinder Mahal. Mm-hmm. That whole title reign was to pander because they signed a new deal over in India. That is the whole thing that was for that. If that day never happened, there is no Jinder Mahal champion. That's pandering.
Yeah, because they even said he only had 3 million fans. How many people in Africa? In India, is only fans. That's how they acted.
Exactly. To the point, I'm just like, that's not how it goes.
Same thing with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, saying it with Saudi Arabia. Saying that there have been a lot of luchadors that they have tried to push to the point where it's just like, that's not how you push, because there's a difference between pushing somebody legit and pandering. Pandering comes.
You can't tell me Manny from Saudi Arabia is not a pandering.
That's pandering, absolutely. Because who is he? That's the thing. When you pander to somebody, when they are nothing and become something, and then they go back to being nothing again, that's the definition of pandering in wrestling. Mm-hmm. To the point where Jinder Mahal has worked very hard to get the stench of 3MB off his back. But the thing is, with that being said, what has Jinder Mahal done since losing to AJ Styles? Because the thing is, I like the Singh Brothers thing. I was starting to get into the Jinder Mahal thing late.
Never did, but
I'm saying, but then
power to you.
I'm saying, but then after that, it's like, okay, well, he lost to AJ Styles, and the next thing you know, he goes to this whole spiritual thing, and then he's jobbing and teaming up with Alicia Fox. It was like that whole thing was a whole pander thing in the first place. So that happens. Do they just link up black people or people of color in teams and stuff like that when they have nothing to do with them? Yes. And to also, that works and it doesn't work all the time. Because, of course, I see him taking a shot at Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Because they really don't know what to do with him. And Cedric was on the Paul Heyman radar. Vince don't like Cedric. Ricochet was on the Paul Heyman radar. I don't think Vince likes Ricochet.
No, he doesn't like him.
So, and then you could tell by how Ricochet got squashed against Brock Lesnar. We didn't even get a good match out of that.
I feel like we could have got better.
No, we could have.
It wasn't going to be...
Because Brock likes working with the smaller guys. But if Vince go out there and destroy him, that's what Brock going to do and go home. Brock don't care. Brock don't care who it is. So there is truth in what he's saying. However, I think Lio Rush is very angry because he was doing great in NXT, in WWE in his second run. What I mean by that is after the Man of the Hour stuff and the whole last year they didn't work out, he comes back as regular Lio Rush, wins the Cruiserweight title, and has some great matches on NXT. Then he gets furloughed, he gets fired. Drake Maverick cries on camera and gets his job back. And Lio Rush don't. Look, let's just be real. Drake Maverick is talented, but he ain't no Lio Rush.
Lio Rush by any stretch of the imagination. But we have to. I was not surprised that happened because I feel like they were just looking for a reason to be like, we're not gonna bring him back with everything that happened previously with the contract stuff and all that jazz.
When Lio Rush puts up, stop giving African Americans title reigns when gold black issues are happening. We're not stupid. Stop that shit. Now, I'm guessing he's referring to Keith Lee, right? Prime, you still there?
I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume so.
I would assume so. This is the one I can't agree with him on.
This is the one I don't respect because if that's your man's in them, then be man enough to tag him.
Yeah, because people did Prime now, because I had to tell Lady Sketch about this other day. How many matches has Lio Rush and Keith Lee had in the Indies? Plenty. They've had great big man, little man matches.
Almost as many matches as Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic had on the main roster on NXT.
They have. I mean, I can show you like the Battle of LA, Keith Lee versus Lio Rush,
and I imagine they're probably great.
Oh, they're great matches. They're really great matches. So he knows Keith Lee well. Okay.
So that's why I said.
Now here's the issue with that. Here's the thing. We are in an era because once again I'm black first, and I am proud to be that, and I'm always be proud of that. And I'm also a wrestling fan, but I'm a wrestling fan second. I'm black first, so I'm going to support my people. I want to see my people up there, but I know how wrestling works. And I just gave y'all the definition of what pandering looks like in wrestling. WWE does it often enough. But right now, we're sitting at a time where 70% of the champions are people of color. And most of those people of color are African Americans. We got Street Profits as the tag team champions. When you got R-Truth as the 24/7 champion. When you had,
I forgot all about the 24/7.
Is that so? Did everybody else, but R-Truth tries to make it as known the best way he can because he lost his partner in Drake Maverick. Well, he's at NXT, take himself a little more seriously. But that's another topic. Anyway, New Day is the SmackDown tag team champions, and then we have Apollo Crews as the United States champion. And then
on any given day, usually the Usos are.
Is that? Oh yeah.
Usually.
And then Keith Lee is a double champion. So I don't see because Keith Lee has been built up since he first got there. Keith Lee, I'm saying, is great what he does, but he needed work. They helped polish off Keith Lee. Keith Lee been there for what now? 2 years now, Brian?
About 2.5. Well, 2 years if you don't count him like sitting in the crowd and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So Keith Lee been there about 2 years now.
Damn. Really?
So exactly, I'm saying. So he took time to pop. He had the whole rivalry with Dominic Dijakovic. There was times he had with Cassius Ohno. They helped build up Keith Lee to the point where it was like, okay, we got this main card because when the North American Championship happened, Adam Cole was the first guy to get that, and then they built him up. And then Keith Lee won the North American Championship, had a great feud of matches with Dominic Dijakovic, and then to the point where it's just like, okay.
And he was in the wasn't he? He was in the Rumble, right?
He was in the Rumble, had a good showing. First of all,
got a cosign from Roman.
That's another thing. He was in Survivor Series to give some of that main roster, camera work because Keith Lee been working in the Indies. He ain't never worked in front of that many people before. So, working with Roman. And, get co-sign from Roman, and then go square up with Brock. Those are the little things you need to help build your character up. Because Brock didn't just eliminate Keith Lee by himself. He was fighting strong. He was distracted, so that helps Keith Lee still look a little strong. And then of course with Roman, it's like him and Roman went down to the wire in the Survivor Series. It was them two representing from NXT and representing from SmackDown. So that's how the thing turned place. So now with him winning the North American Championship and then now becoming a double champion as a black man, I'm happy as hell to see that.
Yep.
Is Keith Lee coming out in Black Lives Matter attire? I'm happy as hell to see that. That's what I want to see. Because that's what it needs to be for like Naomi. That man went through a journey. I stayed here. I watched Keith Lee from the Indies to NXT to becoming that champion. And it ain't like he the WWE champion. He's the NXT champion. But that's for Triple H's company. That's big. You're a double fucking champion. And then just had a title, a champion versus a winner take all match in NXT with Dominic Dijakovic, and then won that matchup. And Dominic put him over and saying that's another level Keith Lee. Okay, yep. So he put that guy over. So if you talking about pandering, I see it being like if they had gave Bobby Lashley the championship, because I don't even know if that's too much pandering because they've been building Bobby Lashley up too. And I would have loved to see Bobby Lashley win the WWE Championship from Drew McIntyre, which I still think Bobby Lashley has a chance to win that match, or win the championship. But look,
I still think he has a chance to win it, but just because of the way that Drew was built, like the whole year, and then him finally beating Brock, I don't think he's gonna win it anytime soon.
Exactly, I'm just saying because you're going to have to. You have got Bobby Lashley to a point where he's looking dominant again, but you have to convince like Lady Sketch that that's the guy to win that championship. Because she said you could put anybody in Bobby Lashley's spot. It just happens he's black. But the pairing with MVP has helped him a lot in moving away from Lana, because Lashley was doing a lot of dumb shit in the beginning. Then they booked him with Lio Rush. Then Lio Rush lost his job with that one, and then MVP is just a better mouthpiece and more established than Lio Rush is.
All he need to do is bring the headband back, and he'll be good.
Yeah, like Lio Rush. The thing with Lio Rush is, okay, he was young, he was a talker, but he had no clout. He had nothing to go off of.
Yeah, no.
MVP got a whole 10+ year history in WWE, not just the wrestling business. Yeah. Things alone, and then he had the MVP lounge, which is still popping. Things still dropping. You know what I'm saying? I like the MVP lounge.
Him and his K&G fashion superstore suits.
Yeah. and then he got the nice United States Championship, and he's a good talker also. That's what Bobby Lashley needs, a more established talker like that. And I think right now, when it comes to Lio Rush, I think these comments sometimes, like I said, they have truth in them, but you gotta know where you're pointing at right now. Cause I think he's upset. I'll be upset too, because Lio Rush wants to work in WWE. He said that. That's what he wants to work in WWE, and now nobody on the talent level of Lio Rush should ever be talking about retirement at his young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the young age of what, 25?
Yeah. You don't think Cody wants him? They won't sign him at AEW? You don't think?
I think they will, but from what he's shown, like his attitude could like be not helping him sometimes.
It's the same thing with Tessa, and I think hers is more elevated.
Yeah.
But nobody else but WWE will touch her because she's such a problem child.
And you don't want those problems over in the company. Same thing when it comes to like Jordan Miles. And the thing with Jordan Miles back then, like I said, he's an extremely talented guy also. And I'm not saying what Lio Rush and Jordan Miles are saying about racist WWE is not valid. I'm not saying that at all. There is a place for it valid. It's not about, you know, how you say it because you don't want to upset the white guy type thing. It's just that sometimes I don't know how to really truly explain it.
I mean, the best I can say, because I'm not a veteran wrestling fan like you guys, but the best I can say is it's going to seem more angry coming from us because we black and we live in this.
Yeah.
But what they're saying has some validity to it, but it's also like you gotta go through the grunt work to get where you're going. Like you just talked about Keith Lee having the journey. The problem is for some folks, they don't have the Keith Lee journey. where they get built up and they have the story of, them being built up to be a champion. Some people don't have that. They don't have that it factor. They're not going to be built up to be a champion, so their journey's going to look a lot different, like a Jordan Miles. I never saw him wrestle enough to be like, oh well, yeah, he's a champion or he's not. But it doesn't sound like he was going to be in the title picture anytime soon.
No, but also when it comes to, everybody does not have the same journey. I do agree with that. However, I do think the black people need more opportunities.
I agree with that part.
And now, with that being said, though, when it comes to the things of Jordan Miles and Lio Rush, these guys were pushed relatively high when they first came in. People forget that the Cameron Grimes Jordan Miles thing, he beat Cameron Grimes to win that contract storyline, and he got himself a match with Adam Cole.
Okay.
And in the NXT Championship, that was the first thing Jordan Miles did on NXT. That's the first thing he did. He was at the top. When Lio Rush first came, he had that match with Velveteen Dream. He disappeared, came back as the man of the hour, the 23-year-old piece of gold. He just skipped NXT and went to 205 Live.
Yeah, pretty much.
But say now, I followed Lio Rush more because I remember Lio Rush from seeing him at indie shows. But
yeah,
Jordan Miles is a different story. But I feel like there are some folks who get pushed to the moon and are not deserving. And then if you got to sit in the background and watch people get pushed and get further than you get even more upset. So it just magnifies all the issues that you're seeing around you. Because it's just like...
But then you also got to make the same thing that these guys that's been speaking out, you could make the comment that they were a definition of pandering, or you could make a definition that they were a definition of, what I'm saying, because the thing is, Lio Rush skipped NXT. Now granted, Lio Rush is very talented, he don't need NXT, but
you need NXT for polishing, not for ability.
Yeah, not for ability wrestling, but he went right to 205 Live. Whether people like 205 Live or not, that's a main card show. It's in front of a live audience. It used to be called 205 Live because it was live. Okay, so they
was they ever live? Because I could have sworn they did pre-tape some stuff too.
Oh no. They have always pre-taped them. Now I'm saying it used to be live. And remember, sometimes they made 205 live after like SmackDown or Raw, and then they try to make it before SmackDown or Raw. I was like, this is not working. So, but he was doing that. They put that Cruiserweight Championship on him, and then on top of that, after he spent a small amount of time on 205 Live, it came to Raw. People got to remember that Raw is the best show on it. That's the most money made show. He was brought on there. He kind of skipped through everything.
You're right.
And came to Raw and was having. And I say he was more so Lashley's manager. Had a couple matches with Finn Balor, but he was on the top stage of it all. He sniffed it. He wanted that money. Because me personally, $300,000 a year, I would love that right now. I don't go through everything these wrestlers go through when it comes to traveling, booking your own flights, health insurance. I don't go through all that. I just know as what situation I'm in now, $100,000 sounds great, but $300,000. And for some of these wrestlers, what I'm saying, I'm not here to say whether it was good or not, but then that's where some of them problems came from.
I mean, I think also some of his issue becomes that he went from being a big fish in a little pond to a small fish in a big pond. Because
ocean.
Oh, you right, an ocean. He was so great, and you know what all of our parents, grandparents, ancestors, everybody then said, you got to be twice as good to get half as much. And I think that he probably was under the impression that being as good as he is, that he deserved all this stuff that he was getting, and then when it didn't work out in his favor, then he was upset. But part of that, the other part of that old saying is that a lot of times you can do all of that, but it's still not always gonna you gonna still have to work hard. Like, you don't stop working just because you get twice as good and you get some of your half as much don't mean you stop.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that a lot of this is coming from a place of anger. Like, the way that he is coming out with it is coming from a place of anger, but he is not entirely incorrect.
He's not entirely incorrect. So I'm not going to take him out. It's entirely incorrect, but like when prime time they listen to them shows, and sometimes that people feel as though that everything that happens to African Americans on the company is racist.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to be because, like we were talking about before, legacy bears a lot on what people, like your pattern bears a lot of what people think. If you have been doing stereotypical or racist gimmicks with people for years and years and years and years, and just giving people title shots to shut folks up, when it becomes an actual thing and you have talented African American or like other people of color, like, you know, the luchadors coming in and they are good, then they start promoting them because they're good and that they resonate with the crowd. Then it looks like it's pandering, when in actuality they earned the spot. But now, if you've been doing ridiculous gimmicks for 25 years, and I know that's not the real numbers, but if you're doing ridiculous gimmicks for 25 years, and then for 5 years you decide, you know what, we've got some really good talent back here, why don't we give them an actual push? It's going to look like you just bullshitting everybody. So, I mean, I get it, but after a while you have to, and I mean, after a while you gotta realize that some of it is genuine. Keith Lee is good at what he does.
Yeah, a lot of people go. We just had a whole thing about Naomi, and believe it or not, whether people think about it or not, R-Truth is good at what he does.
R-Truth is, listen, I wish I could be R-Truth's age and do half the shit that he does. I can't do half the shit he does now, and I am only in my 30s. Please. Yeah. So it looks bad. Like, the optics of it may seem bad, but let's be real. It's the same thing, the same argument I've heard in academic institutions. Oh, well, people seem to think that affirmative action seems to mean, like, just because you black you get into somewhere. Like, no, I had to have the credentials to get here. Just because your homie that you be on a boat with every weekend is not here because he had a 2.5 GPA, that's not my fault. But you gotta hear, oh, well, you only here because you black and we gotta meet a quota. No, I'm here because I worked my ass off. Your homie's not here because he trash. And that's the kind of environment you like swimming in right now, where you feel like you're not supposed to, like, people will make you feel like you're not supposed to be here, or it's pandering because you are here, but you worked your ass off to get there. And I think Lio Rush is angry just because he worked his ass off and lost his opportunity.
And I think he had multiple. I really think if Drake Maverick did not get his job back, or if Lio Rush got his job back, I think we're singing a different tune. Yeah,
I think we'd be singing partially a different tune. I think he would just be quiet about it, but I feel like he may have experienced something in his time there that makes him legitimately feel the way he does. It just seems worse because he's upset right now.
How do you feel about it, Prime?
I mean, I just...
I'm sorry.
I don't know how to follow that, for one. I said I don't know how to follow that one, for one.
I'm sorry, my bad.
But, I mean, Lio Rush, he just... Honestly, I like I said, I think whoever made him mad, he just wake up in the morning and see who he can find next to get mad at, honestly. Because literally, it's like almost every week or every other week, he has like a set date where he finds somebody out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, nothing that nobody even knew happened, nothing nobody knew was going on. Out of nowhere, he just say, "You know what? I hate you today."
Yep, and
So I don't,
and that's what happened when it came to Finn Balor. About he
That
said
was really
he calls
random.
out Finn. He calls Finn Balor out to squash the beef, and on that Twitter he also says, "Let's nip this in the butt." I never had any beef with Finn Balor. I text you and told you I didn't know where this story even came from, and your words exactly were, "I don't want to say anything about it publicly because it would draw more attention to the situation." Well, and then I told you at Finn Balor, I appreciate it if you diffuse the situation because I thought we were cool from the times your now wife watched my son at live events. I knew you had the power / influence to do that. You never text me back and you never diffused the story. Why? And then so
did I miss something? Because I don't even know what story he talked about.
I don't know what he's talking about either.
Nobody does.
Like, Lio Rush had a pair of matches with Finn Balor on Raw a couple years ago.
There was if you go to that link
Yeah.
where it says this issue with Finn Balor, it takes you to a story about where there was apparently something that was said about them having an incident backstage.
Yeah.
But I guess what he's saying is that never happened, and he doesn't know where the story came from.
Okay. Now, once again, I don't I don't know what the problem. He comes out and says, "Some of y'all are weird AF, man. It doesn't surprise me. I see the kind of people y'all support in the industry on a daily, faithfully." So, and like I said, I don't know what to say because I'm not going to sit there and say Leo's wrong.
I know he won't go to Booker T podcast and tell a situation.
I mean, he could go there is opportunities to go anywhere and tell a situation, but the problem usually when people realize that they're wrong, or not necessarily wrong, or they realize though that people are going to check them on something, they're not going to go to that person. Okay, that's it.
Booker T said, come to House of Hardcore. I mean, come to what did he tell him?
He gave him the address to his house. Okay,
yeah,
so I was saying,
Wait, who's giving out addresses?
Booker T.
Oh, for who he told to pull up?
I was saying, Leo Rush. So that was a while ago.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, so there's a thing where it's just like, okay, well, if this is a problem, we can handle this like men. I'm saying, but he knows if he goes to Booker T podcast, he knows if he goes to Busted Open Radio, he knows if he goes to any of these kind of podcasts, they gonna check him.
They gonna break him down.
Okay, they gonna check him. So right now, it's like I want to be angry alone. I want to sit there and say what I got to say. But then if you stir in the pot and you don't know where this stuff is coming from, you know what I'm saying, and just to make noise because you're angry, and everybody has been.
Hate social media.
Yeah, I'm just like, to the point. I understand when you're young, you get angry. We were all young. We were all angry. That happens.
I don't want to invalidate his feelings, but I also
that's what I said.
want him to
angry.
understand that some of this is, you're gonna look back on some of this and be like, maybe I should have handled that differently.
Yeah, he probably could have handled it different. I think Lio Rush probably, if there was not too many, I think he wants to go back to WWE. I really think he wants to do that. And instead of crying in his eyes like a little bitch on camera like Drake Maverick did, he wants to. It's probably his words. That was not mine.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. It's just funny.
But I'm just saying. But then he's just like, fuck it. If I just tell him how it is.
If I rant.
If I tell him how it is, then maybe it'll be like
a shoot interview.
That's
Maybe he thinks that he's not gonna get back into WWE, so he just going off. It's possible.
If Ultimate Warrior can get back into WWE,
Ooh,
anybody can get back. If Bret Hart can get back into the WWE,
the only person I think alive right now that can't get back in WWE is CM Punk, and that's it.
Vince said he's not doing business with two people, CM Punk and Alberto Del Rio. That's it.
Alberto Del Rio earned that shit.
Okay, exactly. So those are two people that Vince said he's not doing business with at all.
You want to bet? You want to bet?
I bet that CM Punk has a higher chance than Alberto do.
Yeah. I'll bet that too.
I'll bet CM Punk got a higher chance of getting back in WWE than Alberto Del Rio does.
He is